Hi, welcome to episode 5 of Fierce Integrity, Course in Living Your Truth. We are on lesson 2, and lesson 2 is still looking at thought work, and hopefully you've had a chance to do some morning pages work. I know I said take a week to do it, so maybe you're delayed to watch this, maybe not. But this lesson is about I am statements. In this lesson, we are going to begin looking at the stream of thought writing that you began working on in the previous lesson. We know by now that we are telling ourselves things that we aren't even truly aware of. A while back, I attended a Byron Katie workshop. This woman is a master teacher of getting at that voice in your head. This workshop involved some stream of thought writing in which I was asked to get very childlike and write down any judgments that I had made within the past day, few days, or weeks. I was surprised to see, read, and say aloud some of the statements that I had been telling myself. One of these statements was, are you ready for this? I am gross. Gross. Even now, I actually feel sick reading that out loud. Who says that to themselves? Well, it turns out that I was telling myself that very cruel statement way up there in my head. I would never dream of saying that statement to anyone else, and yet here I was telling it to myself. It was a huge eye-opener. I have been studying Dr. Wayne Dyer's latest work about I am statements. In his book, Wishes Fulfilled, he writes that the name of God, as said to Moses in the Bible, is I am that I am. In other words, when you say I am, whatever it is, you are essentially calling forth the divine presence that is within you and manifesting it into existence. When you say I am sick, for example, your physical plane experience is going to show this reality to you again and again, confirming the statement that you yourself have made. It has to do so in order to keep your ego mind in alignment with reality. When your ego and reality fall out of alignment with each other, you are left in a state of cognitive dissonance, a state that is extremely uncomfortable for the mind. The mind is so uncomfortable in this state that it will do anything to get out of it, even going so far as to physically manifest conditions that you don't even want in order to come back to a place of homeostasis. Action. Scan the stream of thought entries and look for I am statements. Anything that begins with I feel, I want, I wish, I am. Highlight or circle them. Different colored highlighters work well because we're going to be pulling out another category in a future lesson. Read all of the I statements out loud. Questions for reflection. Are you surprised by any of your I statements? Are you better able to hear the overall quality of your inner voice? Is it kind and loving or cruel and judgmental? Which I statements would you like to change? So, I was at the beginning of my journey to self-love at this point of publication. I told you in one of the previous episodes that I hadn't even been able to receive my own self-compassion until only 2016, which is 3 years after this was published. And while I was on the journey to turning those thoughts around, the I am gross thoughts and worse, I had a real self-loathing that was in there. A deep sense of unworthiness, a deep sense of self-loathing, self-annihilation. Like, it was pretty hardcore. And I would say where I'm at today at 42 years old in 2022 is I love myself. It sounds so cutesy when I say it. I remember my mom and I used to go to the Hay House conferences in Vancouver, and I live in Edmonton, so we'd make a trip out of it. We'd fly out to Vancouver and stay in a nice hotel and go to the conference and have dinners, and it was awesome. Both of us loved this yearly trip that we would make. I think we did five in a row. It was awesome. Wayne Dyer was always the headliner. He'd start off the conference for like a 3-hour talk. He'd say all the same jokes. I was just thinking about these jokes the other day, I'll tell you one. He would say, he was 78 or 77 or however old. He was always, when I started seeing him, he was in his 70s plus, and he used to say, I'm blank years old and I have sex almost every day. Almost on Monday, almost on Tuesday, almost on Wednesday. He always said the same joke, and it was always funny. So as a speaker, as I'm learning, you can use the same jokes. It's okay. Wayne Dyer. It's good enough for Wayne Dyer. It's good enough for me. But anyway, what I was not Wayne Dyer. I did mention him in this book. He was one of my very favorite spiritual teachers. He still is. I adore this man's teachings. He is one of my spirit guides. He comes to me in often in journeys and dreams and meditations. He's always with me. He's such a powerful, light-hearted man. I just can't even say enough about him. I never had the good fortune of meeting him one-on-one, just experiencing his presence as a speaker on many occasions. And I've read lots of his books. I just love him. But one year, we got the special treat of hearing Louise Hay talk. And, Hay House, it's her company. It's her You Can Heal Your Life kind of self-published book as a 60-plus-year-old woman that got the whole thing started. And the publishing house, and only once in all those years I was going did I ever hear her speak live. And it was one of my most favoriteest experiences of my life, because I think I'm going to get into it in the next lesson, but she does mirror work where you look at yourself in the mirror and you talk nice to yourself. And she pulls out this little cosmetic mirror from her bra, and she's demonstrating this to us. And she starts talking to herself like she is the most beloved, sacred creature. Lulu Bell. And I mean, it was just, she's, 80. It was so endearing, and it was so true, and it was so authentic. And just, yesterday, this morning, I've really been thinking about, I'm like that. I talk to myself like this. I really do. This morning at dark AM, pre 6 o'clock, I was driving myself to the pool and giving myself this lovely, I love you, Maren. You're so amazing. I can't believe how disciplined you are. You're so awesome. Like, talk out loud in the car. And I meant every word of it. Every word. I'm going to say, shout out Mel Robbins again. She's got that high five yourself in the mirror technique flying around the internet right now. And, I referenced a couple of episodes ago, Perry and I had this kind of dysregulating conflict that we navigated well. I'm proud of the way we navigated it, but it was intense for both of us, kind of threatening our attachment a little bit. And our attachment pattern, is fairly intense. We both have like attachment trauma. So it was just intense on a nervous system perspective. So I was able to stay in witness consciousness. But you know what I did? I went into the bathroom and I put my hand on the mirror and I looked myself in the eyes and I said, no matter how this turns out, no matter what happens, I have you, and I am not leaving you. And it's all going to work out. Like, I will never leave you. I will never abandon you. I totally have you. And I meant it. And I felt it. So it was so cool to, read this, and I am gross. Oh my God. To where I am now. I'll admit to you, when I wrote this book, I wasn't at the Louise Hay level of loving myself in the mirror. I just wasn't. I'm there now. I am. Unabashedly so. It's so neat. It's so cool to watch the growth and to look back and listen to where this Maren was at. And I love her so much for being so brave to put herself out there unfinished. I'm still doing that. That is one of my gifts, is like, I will be seen in the unfolding. I will be seen in the imperfections. I will be seen in the, I don't know the answer just yet. Maybe I never will. I'm willing to be seen in my most vulnerable state. So that's kind of what this online course I'm hoping is about, is me sharing with you like my own journey into fierce integrity and its continual unfolding. So thanks for showing up today. Next time we will talk about the sliding scale technique.